Hello guys, Dr. Richard Ben here. So, what if the healthy breakfast you trust every single morning is the exact reason your blood sugar refuses to drop? And what if fixing this one mistake could start changing your numbers in just 24 hours? Did you know that the breakfast you've believed for years is healthy could be the exact reason your blood sugar isn't going down? I'm not talking about anything exotic or complicated. I'm talking about that simple, humble food you have in your refrigerator right now, which when used incorrectly can send your blood sugar soaring, but when used properly can become one of your most powerful allies in controlling it. Today I'm going to reveal everything you need to know about eggs and diabetes, because there's a huge truth no one has told you, and it's affecting your numbers every single morning without you even realizing it. I know exactly how you feel. You take care of yourself, you try to eat well, you follow the advice you were given, but your numbers stay stubborn, refusing to go down the way you want. And that is frustrating, exhausting. It makes you feel like your body simply isn't responding no matter what you do. But what I'm about to show you today can completely change that story because the problem is often not your body. It's the information you were given, and wrong information causes silent damage every single day. As you know, I'm Dr. Richard Ben, and if you want to receive tips like these every week, subscribe to this channel right now and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. What I share here is designed for you so you can make smarter decisions about your health with real up-to-date information. Subscribe now. It only takes 2 seconds. And stay until the end, because what's coming next could literally change your numbers starting tomorrow. There's something I need to explain before we talk about eggs, because without understanding this first, nothing else will make sense. When you have diabetes, your body has difficulty processing carbohydrates. You already know that. But what you may not have been told is that not all foods affect your blood sugar in the same way. There are foods that not only don't raise your sugar, but also help reduce the impact of other foods you eat. Protein is one of those hidden allies. When you eat high-quality protein along with carbohydrates, something fascinating happens inside your body. Protein acts like a natural brake, slowing down the rate at which sugar from those carbohydrates enters your bloodstream. Instead of a sudden spike that leaves your blood sugar at 200 an hour later, what you get is a slower, more controlled release that your body can handle with less stress. And eggs are one of the most complete and accessible sources of protein that exist. 2 whole eggs give you approximately 12 g of high-quality protein with all the amino acids your body needs and cannot produce on its own. And the glycemic index of eggs is 0. Absolutely 0. Eggs by themselves do not raise your blood sugar even a single point, but when combined correctly, they can help prevent everything else you eat from spiking it as much. And here's what no one tells you, and what I find truly revealing. Many people with diabetes avoid eggs because they fear cholesterol. They spend months or even years not eating them, thinking they're doing themselves a favor. Meanwhile, their blood sugar stays high, their energy remains low, and sometimes their cholesterol even gets worse. Why? Because what they replaced eggs with at breakfast wasn't something better, it was something worse. It was bread, instant oatmeal, fruit juice, boxed cereal, all simple carbohydrates that quickly turn into sugar with nothing to slow them down because there's no protein accompanying them. And that's exactly what happened to one of my most memorable patients. I remember her perfectly. Danielle Emily came to my office about 10 months ago. She was 64 years old. She had been living with type 2 diabetes for 8 years, and she walked in carrying a folder full of lab results she had been collecting over the years. She sat down in front of me, and before I could say a single word, she began to cry softly. Not out of desperation, but with that deep exhaustion of someone who has been fighting for a long time and no longer knows what else to do. "Dr. Ben," she said, wiping her eyes, "I've done everything they told me. I stopped eating eggs almost 2 years ago because my previous doctor said cholesterol was dangerous for my heart. I changed my breakfast. I eat oatmeal every day with fruit and natural juice because I was told it was the healthiest option. I take my medications without missing a single dose. I walk 3 times a week, and yet my fasting blood sugar is still between 155 and 175 every morning. My A1C is 8.2%, and my cholesterol didn't go down, it went up. I'm doing everything right and nothing works." When she described her breakfast in detail, I understood everything immediately. Instant oatmeal with honey and a ripe banana, plus a glass of fresh orange juice. That breakfast, although it sounds healthy, was actually a massive load of rapidly absorbed carbohydrates with virtually no protein to slow them down. Her blood sugar was spiking to 210 or 220 every morning, just half an hour after breakfast. And because there was no protein to keep her satisfied, by 10 a.m. she was already hungry again and looking for something to snack on. Her body never had a moment of calm. It never gave her pancreas a break because her blood sugar kept going up, down, like an endless roller coaster throughout the day. I carefully explained to her what the most recent science says about eggs and cholesterol because the information she had received was outdated and causing her real harm. Scientific research in recent years has consistently shown that for most people, the cholesterol you eat in foods is not the main driver of cholesterol levels in your blood. Your liver produces cholesterol independently, and what affects it the most is not eggs, but refined sugars and trans fats. In fact, studies published in reputable medical journals have observed that eating whole eggs can improve your cholesterol profile. It can help raise HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol that protects your heart, and it can shift LDL particles from a small, dense form, which is more harmful, to a larger, more buoyant form, which is far less dangerous. I proposed a very simple change, nothing radical, nothing complicated, just replacing that breakfast that was spiking her blood sugar every morning with one built around real protein. I explained how to prepare eggs properly, what to combine them with, and how many to eat. 2 weeks later, she called me with a completely different tone of voice from that first visit. Dr. Ben, my blood sugar after breakfast is 140, not 210, 140. I can't believe it. I tested it 3 days in a row just to be sure. After 1 month, her fasting blood sugar had dropped from 165 to 142. After 3 months, her A1C went from 8.2% down to 7.5%. Her LDL cholesterol, which had worried her so much, also went down. And she told me something that truly touched me. Doctor, for the first time in years, I wake up looking forward to breakfast because I know what I'm going to eat will help me, not punish me 2 hours later. But wait, because what comes next is the practical part, and it's exactly what you need to know so you can experience this too. The first thing I want you to understand about how many eggs you can eat is to let go of that fear you might still have. For most people with diabetes who do not have severe kidney conditions or other specific contraindications, eating 2 to 3 whole eggs per day is completely safe and in fact beneficial. I say whole eggs because the yolk matters a lot. For decades, we were taught to throw away the yolk and keep only the whites. That advice was based on information that modern science has now thoroughly re-examined. The yolk is where most of the egg's nutrients are found. It contains choline, which is essential for fat metabolism in your liver. And when you have diabetes, your liver needs all the support it can get. It also contains vitamin D, which according to multiple studies can help improve insulin sensitivity at the cellular level, meaning your cells respond better to the insulin your pancreas produces. It contains lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 compounds that protect your eyes from the damage that chronically high blood sugar can cause. And if there's one thing a person with diabetes needs to protect, it's their eyes. It also contains B-complex vitamins that support the function of the nervous system, helping to prevent that tingling in the hands and feet that so many people with diabetes begin to feel over time. Do not throw away the yolk. Eat the whole egg. The benefits are inside it. And here is what is truly important and powerful. The thing that changes everything. It's not just how many eggs you eat, it's how you prepare them. You can have the best food in the world and completely destroy its benefits if you prepare it the wrong way. And unfortunately, the way most people prepare eggs is exactly what does the most harm to their numbers. Frying them in large amounts of oil or butter and pairing them with white toast or flour tortillas is a combination that can drive your blood sugar up to 200 with alarming consistency. Not because the egg is bad, but because what you add around it is a mix of saturated fat and refined carbohydrates that temporarily block your insulin while simultaneously spiking your glucose. The right way to prepare eggs is much simpler than you might think. Scrambled eggs in a non-stick pan without a single drop of oil are perfect. Eggs contain enough natural fat to prevent sticking. Lightly beat them, Pour them into a hot pan over medium heat and gently stir for 2 to 3 minutes until they are cooked but still creamy. You can also boil them, which is the simplest and most practical method. Place them in cold water. Bring it to a boil and cook for 10 minutes for a firm yolk or 6 minutes if you prefer a softer yolk. You can prepare them the night before and keep them ready in the refrigerator. A vegetable-loaded omelet is another wonderful option. Beat 2 eggs and in a non-stick pan without oil, add fresh spinach, tomato, onion, mushrooms, or any vegetables you have. Vegetables provide additional fiber, which further enhances the slowing effect on blood sugar, and they add volume so you feel full without increasing carbohydrates. Tell me in the comments how you usually prepare your eggs, because I love knowing your starting point so I can give you more specific advice for your situation. Now, what influences your blood sugar the most is not just how you prepare the eggs, but what you pair them with. Avocado is the ideal companion to eggs for someone with diabetes. The healthy fat in avocado does not spike your blood sugar. Instead, it helps make digestion slower and more stable. Spinach provides magnesium, a mineral that many people with diabetes have in low levels, and that plays an important role in insulin sensitivity. Tomatoes, peppers, and mushrooms are all perfect allies because they contain fiber and very few carbohydrates. This combination, 2 eggs prepared without oil, half an avocado, and a generous portion of vegetables can keep your blood sugar stable for 4 to 5 hours. That means you reach lunchtime without that desperate hunger and without those intense sugar cravings that are so difficult to resist when your blood sugar has dropped sharply. Don't go away, because what comes next is something very few people know, and it can make a huge difference in your morning numbers. Most people only think of eggs as a breakfast food, and while breakfast is the most powerful time to eat them because it stabilizes your blood sugar from the start of the day and sets a ceiling on the spikes that would occur if you ate only carbohydrates, eggs at dinner have a benefit that surprises almost all of my patients when I tell them about it. When you eat high-quality protein at dinner instead of carbohydrates, something important happens overnight. Your liver, which normally releases glucose continuously while you sleep, does so in a more moderate and controlled way. This can translate into lower fasting blood sugar the next morning. It has been observed that this change can represent a difference of 15 to 20 points in fasting blood sugar for some people. Imagine waking up tomorrow and seeing that lower number on your glucose meter, not because you took an extra medication, but because you had 2 eggs with vegetables for dinner instead of rice or tortillas. And here's what no one tells you about the most common mistakes people with diabetes make when they try to eat eggs in a healthy way. The first is frying them, even in a small amount of olive oil, thinking that because it's olive oil, it's fine. Olive oil is wonderful when used cold on salads, but when you heat it at high temperatures for frying, it loses some of its properties and adds unnecessary calories and fat that your body doesn't need, especially when the egg already contains its own natural fat. The second mistake is pairing them with fresh orange juice. Many people believe that natural juice is healthy and completely different from packaged juice. But for someone with diabetes, even fresh juice is liquid sugar without fiber, entering your bloodstream very quickly. A whole orange with its fiber intact is a much better option than juice. The third mistake is adding processed cheese or cured meats like ham or sausage. Processed cheese and deli meats are high in sodium and contain additives that do nothing good for your blood pressure or your overall health. If you want to add cheese, choose fresh cheese or a small amount of cottage cheese in moderation. I have to tell you about James Taylor because his story perfectly illustrates how these small changes can transform someone's numbers. James Taylor is 58 years old and came to my office 7 months ago with a look of resignation that immediately caught my attention. He was a quiet man, a man of few words. He placed his lab results on the desk without saying anything and looked at me, waiting for me to speak first. His A1C was 8.6%. His fasting blood sugar averaged 178. He had been living with type 2 diabetes for 5 years and had been taking metformin for 3. He told me that every day for breakfast, he ate 2 eggs fried in oil with refried beans and 3 corn tortillas. He thought he was eating well because he included eggs and beans, which are sources of protein. But the problem was the preparation and the combination. The oil used to fry the eggs, the fat in the refried beans, and the tortillas together created that problematic combination that spiked his blood sugar every morning. I suggested a specific and simple change. Instead of frying the eggs, he would prepare them boiled or scrambled without oil. Instead of refried beans, he would eat whole beans with less fat. Instead of 3 corn tortillas, he would eat just 1 and add fresh vegetables to compensate for volume. That was the only change we made at the beginning. 3 weeks later, James Taylor came back for his follow-up appointment, and for the first time since I met him, he showed a small but genuine smile. "Dr. Ben, my morning numbers are between 145 and 155. They never used to go below 170. I didn't change anything else, only what you told me about breakfast." After 4 months, his A1C had dropped to 7.8%. His primary care doctor asked him what he had done differently, and James Taylor replied with the simplicity that defined him. "I changed how I prepare my eggs, doctor. That was all. But wait, because I want to give you something concrete and practical that you can start applying as soon as tomorrow without having to memorize anything complicated. The ideal breakfast for a person with diabetes who wants to take advantage of the power of eggs looks like this: 2 scrambled eggs cooked without oil in a non-stick pan, or 2 boiled eggs accompanied by half a ripe avocado and a generous portion of vegetables such as spinach, tomatoes, or peppers. If you feel you need something more, you can add a small slice of real whole grain bread, one with visible seeds and a dense texture, not soft and fluffy. But eat it after the eggs, not before. If you start with the bread, your blood sugar spikes before the protein has a chance to do its job of slowing things down. If you start with the eggs, the protein is already working by the time the carbohydrates from the bread arrive, and the impact on your blood sugar is much smaller. For mid-morning, if you feel hungry before lunch, a hard-boiled egg prepared the night before, along with a small handful of nuts or almonds, is a combination that barely affects your blood sugar and keeps you satisfied without cravings. For dinner, if you want to take advantage of the fasting blood sugar benefit I mentioned earlier, a toe omelet with plenty of vegetables and no bread is a light, nutritious, and powerful option for improving your numbers the next morning. And what I'm about to tell you is very important, and I don't want you to overlook it. If you take metformin, eggs do not interfere with your medication at all. You can eat them with confidence. If you take insulin, it's important to talk to your doctor when you start changing your breakfast to a high-protein one, because protein can make your insulin work more effectively, and your numbers may drop more than expected. That's not a bad thing in itself, but your doctor needs to know so they can adjust your dosage if necessary. Always keep your personal doctor informed about any changes you make to your diet, especially when you are taking medication. Communication with your healthcare team is a fundamental part of good control. There's something else I want you to know because it's a question I get all the time. The quality of the egg matters, but it doesn't have to be perfect for you to benefit. Organic pasture-raised eggs tend to have higher levels of omega-3 and vitamin D compared to conventional eggs. If you have access to them and can afford them, they are an excellent option. But if organic eggs are not within your budget or not easily available, regular supermarket eggs are still an extraordinarily nutritious and beneficial food. Don't stop eating eggs just because you can't buy the organic version. The benefit of including them correctly in your diet far outweighs the difference between organic and conventional. I want you to leave this video with something very clear. Eggs are not your enemy. They never were. What may have been your enemy without you even realizing it was the way you prepared them and what you paired them with. When you change that, when you start preparing your eggs without oil, when you combine them with avocado and vegetables instead of white bread and processed meats, when you include them not only at breakfast but also as a dinner option, you are giving your body a real and powerful tool to stabilize your blood sugar in a way that no pill can achieve on its own. Daniel Emily said it to me in the most beautiful way at her last appointment. "Dr. Ben, I thought controlling diabetes was a battle I would never win. And it turns out part of the solution was in my refrigerator the whole time. I just needed to know how to use it. That is exactly what I want for you. That the right information gives you back control. That every morning when you open your refrigerator and see those eggs, you don't see them with fear, but with the confidence of knowing you are going to use them in your favor. Remember, this video is for informational and educational purposes only. Always consult your personal doctor before making any changes to your diet or treatment because every person is different, and what works for most people may need adjustments based on your specific situation. If this video opened your eyes and you feel that for the first time someone explained eggs and diabetes in a way that truly makes sense, I invite you to subscribe to this channel right now. Every week I share information like this specifically designed to help you live better with diabetes with real data, no false promises, and no unnecessary complications. Give this video a like if you found it helpful, and share it with someone you know needs to hear this today. That simple gesture could change the numbers of someone you care about. Tell me in the comments what change you're going to make first in the way you prepare your eggs. I love reading your responses and knowing this information is reaching the people who truly need it. Your body can respond better than you think when you give it the right information to work with. Give it that opportunity. This is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right thing starting today. Your body is ready to improve. It's just been waiting for the right strategy. Make this change tomorrow morning, and you might never look at your breakfast the same way again. See you soon in the next one.